There is a country so vast that crossing it from west to east takes longer than flying across entire continents. From space, it stretches like a frozen ocean of land forests, without edges. Cities glowing in isolation, railways slicing through wilderness that seems untouched by time. This is Russia, a nation covering more than 17 million square kilometers, nearly 1/10 of all land on Earth. But Russia's true scale isn't measured in land. It's measured in how it reshapes human life itself. Because, for millions of people, Russia exists first as an imagination, long before it becomes a place. A place shaped by headlines, history books, and political narratives, a land imagined as distant, cold, and difficult to understand. For many travelers, it feels less like a destination and more like a mystery waiting behind a curtain. But the moment you actually step inside Russia, the story begins to change completely. Suddenly, Russia stops feeling like a headline and starts feeling like millions of personal stories unfolding at once. Morning trains fill with commuters scrolling on smartphones. Families walk through parks built beside centuries-old monuments. Street musicians perform under neon lights, while snow falls quietly around them. The rhythm of daily life here is not frozen in history. It moves. It evolves. It adapts to a scale few countries have ever attempted to manage. Russia is not one country in the traditional sense. It is an entire collection of worlds stitched together by history and survival. It is a network of regions that feel like separate worlds, connected by language, history, and survival across extreme geography. And that is where the real question begins. How does a country this large hold itself together? How do millions of people build identity across 11 time zones, countless climates, and cultures that sometimes feel thousands of years apart? To understand Russia, you cannot start with politics or stereotypes. You have to start with scale. Because in Russia, distance doesn't just shape maps, it reshapes identity itself. It shapes how people live, how they connect, and how they see the world beyond their borders. If you descend beneath the streets of Moscow, you don't just enter public transportation. You step into a space that feels less like transportation and more like stepping inside a hidden palace beneath the city. Or a royal palace, hidden beneath the movement of an entire city. The escalator drops deeper and deeper, sometimes more than 70 meters below the surface. The air cools, the sound of the city fades. And then, almost suddenly, the tunnel opens into vast halls glowing under chandeliers, marble columns, and mosaics that tell stories carved directly into the walls. The Moscow Metro was never built just to move people. It was built to impress, inspire, and remind citizens of national identity. It was designed to impress them. Each station carries its own personality. Some display Soviet-era artwork celebrating history, labor, and culture. Others resemble classical European palaces, with ceilings decorated in gold patterns and polished stone floors reflecting warm light across the platform. For commuters rushing to work, this becomes part of daily routine. For visitors, it feels almost unreal, like discovering fine art in a place meant for speed. And speed is where this system becomes even more extraordinary. During peak hours, trains arrive roughly every 90 seconds. The network stretches across hundreds of kilometers, connecting districts, business centers, residential neighborhoods, and historic landmarks into a single, synchronized pulse. Despite its scale and complexity, the system remains remarkably affordable, allowing millions of residents to move across the city every day without financial strain. But beyond engineering, the metro reveals something deeply psychological about Moscow. How public space becomes national storytelling. It shows how infrastructure here is not only about function, it is about symbolism. The idea that everyday citizens should travel through spaces that feel grand, dignified, and carefully crafted. A belief that public spaces can carry culture, identity, and pride. And perhaps that is what surprises most visitors. Because beneath one of the busiest capitals on Earth, exists a hidden world where art, history, and motion blend seamlessly together, turning an ordinary commute into an experience that quietly tells the story of an entire nation. Walk through Moscow, and time doesn't pass. It overlaps. Centuries collide within a single skyline. Instead, it folds. One moment, you are standing in Red Square, a place where centuries of history seem to gather in a single open space. The cobblestone ground has witnessed coronations, revolutions, celebrations, and moments that reshaped entire eras. Rising beside it, St. Basil's Cathedral appears almost unreal, with colorful domes twisting toward the sky like something imagined in a fairy tale. Each tower holds its own design, its own pattern, its own story. A reminder that architecture here was never only about function, it was about identity. Nearby, the Kremlin walls stretch across the skyline like a silent guardian of Russian history. Behind those red brick fortifications lie palaces, cathedrals, and government buildings that have influenced the direction of the nation for generations. Walking past them feels less like visiting monuments, and more like standing inside a living timeline. But what makes Moscow truly striking is what happens when you lift your eyes beyond the past. Glass skyscrapers rise in the distance, reflecting sunlight across the river. Entire districts have transformed into modern business centers filled with technology, innovation, and global commerce. Steel and glass now stand only minutes away from stone churches and ancient towers. And instead of competing, past and future silently negotiate space beside each other. This contrast creates a skyline unlike almost anywhere else in the world. A place where medieval domes stand beside futuristic towers, where centuries-old streets suddenly open into modern boulevards lined with contemporary architecture and cultural spaces. For visitors, the experience feels cinematic. You walk through layers of time without leaving the same city block. One street whispers stories from Imperial Russia. The next pulses with modern energy, crowded cafes, and urban life moving at global speed. Moscow's architecture doesn't try to erase history. It builds around it. And that is what makes the city feel so powerful, not just because of how it looks, but because every building, every square, every skyline reflects a country constantly balancing memory and momentum. One of the biggest surprises about Russia is not income, but how daily life quietly adapts to it. It's what that income can actually do. At first glance, average salaries in major cities like Moscow or St. Petersburg may appear lower compared to Western countries. On paper, the numbers can look modest, but statistics rarely explain how people actually live. And Russia proves that reality can contradict expectations, because the real experience of daily life here is shaped not just by income, but by purchasing power. Rent, for example, varies widely depending on location. In central Moscow, modern apartments can be expensive, similar to other global capitals. But step outside the city center, and housing becomes dramatically more affordable, offering practical options for long-term residents. Many locals prioritize access to public transportation, making suburban living both realistic and convenient. Food is where the contrast becomes even clearer. A full meal at a comfortable restaurant can often cost less than what many travelers expect to pay for fast food in Western cities. Local markets offer fresh produce, baked goods, and regional products at prices that encourage daily shopping instead of bulk buying. Dining out is treated less as a luxury and more as part of everyday life. Transportation also plays a major role in balancing living costs. Public transit systems remain highly affordable and efficient, allowing millions of people to move across large cities without relying heavily on private cars. The combination of accessibility and low pricing helps keep commuting manageable for most residents. Entertainment and cultural activities continue this pattern. Theater performances, museums, concerts, and public events often remain accessible to a wide range of income levels. This reflects a long-standing cultural tradition that values education, arts, and social participation as essential parts of society. What makes Russia's economic reality so fascinating is the balance between challenge and adaptability. While salaries may differ from Western benchmarks, the structure of everyday expenses creates a lifestyle that many residents learn to navigate effectively. And for visitors, this contrast often changes expectations completely. Because here, value isn't measured only by how much people earn, but by how fully daily life can still be experienced. To truly understand Russia, you must step past statistics and history and into the emotional rhythm of its people. And one of the most surprising things many visitors notice is how different first impressions can be from deeper experiences. At first, Russian society can feel distant, almost emotionally guarded. Public spaces often move quickly, conversations can seem direct, and personal boundaries are respected strongly. But behind that distance lies a culture where loyalty and friendship often run deeper than many visitors expect. Friendships here are often measured not by frequency, but by loyalty and trust developed over time. Family connections remain especially strong. Multi-generational households are still common in many regions, not only for practical reasons, but because family identity is deeply rooted in cultural values. Celebrations, meals, and holidays often center around extended family gatherings, where traditions are preserved through storytelling, music, and shared recipes passed down through generations. Education also plays a powerful role in shaping Russian society. Literacy rates remain extremely high, and intellectual discussion is widely respected. Literature, philosophy, music, and history are not viewed simply as academic subjects. They are woven into everyday conversation. Many people grow up reading classic authors, attending concerts, or visiting museums as part of normal cultural life. The country's artistic heritage continues to influence modern identity. Ballet, classical music, theater, and visual arts remain highly valued and widely attended by audiences across different age groups. Cultural institutions are often seen not just as entertainment venues, but as spaces where national heritage and creative expression intersect. What often surprises visitors most is the emotional intensity within Russian social culture. Conversations can move quickly from casual topics to thoughtful reflections about life, history, and personal meaning. Hospitality, once trust is established, is frequently warm and generous, reflecting traditions that emphasize respect for guests and meaningful connection. Russia's cultural identity is shaped by centuries of artistic, intellectual, and social traditions. And while the country continues to evolve, one thing remains consistent: relationships, knowledge, and creative expression still form the emotional foundation of daily life. Because here, culture isn't something people occasionally visit, it's something many grow up living inside every day. To truly see Russia, you must leave the cities and enter landscapes that feel almost endless, and into landscapes so vast, they almost feel endless. This is a country where geography doesn't just shape scenery, it shapes identity, lifestyle, and survival itself. Russia stretches across 11 time zones, meaning sunrise and sunset never belong to one single moment here, creating one of the most environmentally diverse regions on Earth. In the far north, Arctic tundra dominates the horizon, where winter darkness can last for weeks, and the land transforms into a frozen wilderness. Further south, dense taiga forests stretch across Siberia, forming one of the largest forest ecosystems on the planet. These forests aren't just visually breathtaking, they play a critical role in global climate balance and wildlife preservation. One of Russia's most extraordinary natural wonders is Lake Baikal in Siberia, the deepest freshwater lake on Earth, and one of the clearest bodies of water ever recorded. Scientists estimate that it holds roughly 1/5 of the world's unfrozen fresh surface water. During winter, the lake freezes into crystal-clear ice formations that can stretch for miles, creating a landscape that looks almost unreal. Moving westward, travelers encounter historic towns surrounded by rivers, rolling hills, and preserved countryside known for traditional architecture and rural heritage. These regions reveal how closely Russian history has always been connected to nature, agriculture, and seasonal rhythms. Even major cities maintain strong connections to green space. Large parks, riverside promenades, and forest reserves are carefully integrated into urban planning, offering residents a balance between metropolitan life and natural escape. In summer, cities transform into vibrant outdoor environments filled with festivals, boating, and long daylight hours. In winter, the same locations shift into snow-covered landscapes that support seasonal sports and cultural traditions. Russia's environment is not scenery. It is a force that has shaped civilization for centuries. It is a powerful force that has shaped settlement patterns, transportation, architecture, and daily routines for centuries. The scale of this land reminds visitors how small human infrastructure can appear against such immense geography. Because in Russia, nature isn't something people visit occasionally, it's something that constantly defines how life is lived. At first glance, Russia often feels deeply rooted in history. Grand architecture, centuries-old traditions, and cultural rituals passed through generations. Yet inside modern cities, a completely different Russia emerges: digital, fast, and surprisingly advanced. One powered by advanced digital infrastructure and rapidly evolving technology. In major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, modern life is built around highly integrated digital ecosystems. Mobile apps are central to everyday convenience, allowing residents to navigate transportation, order food, schedule services, and make purchases seamlessly. Electronic payments are widely accepted, from large shopping centers to small neighborhood vendors, creating a cashless lifestyle that feels surprisingly efficient and accessible. Transportation technology plays a major role in shaping daily routines. Navigation apps provide real-time transit updates, while ride-hailing services operate with speed and reliability across large metropolitan areas. Even historic public transportation systems blend old-world design with modern functionality, showing how technological progress can coexist with preserved cultural heritage. Russia has also invested heavily in internet infrastructure, supporting high-speed connectivity across major population centers. This digital accessibility allows remote work, online education, and digital entrepreneurship to expand rapidly, especially among younger generations. Technology-driven startups and online marketplaces continue to grow, contributing to a shifting economic landscape that blends traditional industries with emerging digital sectors. What makes Russia's modernization fascinating is not speed, but contrast, is the contrast it creates. You might use a smartphone app while standing inside a historic building constructed centuries ago. You might order digital services delivered to neighborhoods shaped by history, architecture, and culture that remain largely unchanged on the surface. Beyond convenience, technology has also influenced communication and social interaction. Digital platforms allow people across Russia's vast geographic distances to stay connected, bridging communities separated by thousands of miles. In a country defined by scale, technology often becomes the invisible thread, linking everyday life together. Russia's modernization is not about replacing tradition. It is about layering innovation onto a deeply historical foundation. Because here, progress does not erase the past. It simply finds new ways to exist alongside it. Russian cuisine is often underestimated until you realize it reflects centuries of survival, migration, and cultural blending. But the reality reveals a culinary landscape shaped by geography, history, and cultural exchange across one of the largest territories on Earth. Each region contributes flavors, techniques, and traditions that reflect centuries of migration, climate adaptation, and local resources. Traditional dishes such as dumplings, hearty soups, and layered pastries were originally designed to provide warmth and energy during long, cold seasons. These meals are often rich, comforting, and deeply connected to family traditions, where recipes are passed down across generations. But modern Russian food culture has expanded far beyond these familiar staples. Urban restaurant scenes, especially in Moscow and St. Petersburg, showcase influences from neighboring regions and former Soviet republics, creating a diverse fusion of flavors. Georgian cuisine, Central Asian spices, and European culinary techniques blend into menus that feel both traditional and contemporary. Markets remain an important part of daily life, offering fresh produce, local specialties, and handmade goods that reflect regional identity and seasonal availability. Lifestyle in Russia also places noticeable emphasis on personal presentation and social etiquette. In many urban environments, dressing well is not reserved for special occasions. Everyday activities such as meeting friends, commuting, or dining out often reflect a strong sense of personal style. This attention to appearance is less about luxury and more about self-respect and cultural expression. Beauty and grooming services are widely accessible, allowing individuals to maintain polished appearances as part of routine life. Fashion reflects a balance between international trends and locally influenced aesthetics, creating distinctive styles that vary across regions and social settings. Social gatherings frequently revolve around food, conversation, and shared experiences. Meals are often unhurried, encouraging connection and storytelling. Hospitality holds cultural importance, with guests traditionally welcomed through generous meals and extended conversations that strengthen relationships. In Russia, food is more than nourishment. It is a social language. And personal style is more than appearance. It is a reflection of identity shaped by history, environment, and evolving modern culture. Because here, culture is not only preserved in museums or landmarks, it is lived daily at the table, in the streets, and in the way people present themselves to the world. Understanding Russia means studying the invisible systems that quietly keep millions of lives connected, and stepping into the systems that quietly support life across one of the most geographically vast nations on Earth. Very few nations have attempted to hold together a population spread across distances this extreme, diverse climates, and remote landscapes. Yet Russia has built networks designed not just to function, but to endure. Education plays a central role in shaping the country's intellectual identity. Russian academic institutions are known for emphasizing deep theoretical knowledge combined with strong technical training. Universities and specialized schools often focus on mathematics, engineering, science, and the arts, creating generations of professionals recognized globally for analytical thinking and creative problem-solving. Another distinctive feature is accessibility. Compared to many Western countries, tuition costs and student living expenses can be significantly more affordable, allowing education to remain a realistic goal for many families and international students. But education alone cannot hold a country of this scale together. Infrastructure becomes the invisible backbone of national unity. Major cities are connected by extensive road systems, domestic flight networks, and one of the most iconic railway systems ever built, the Trans-Siberian Railway. Stretching roughly 9,000 kilometers across multiple time zones, this railway represents more than transportation. It is a moving corridor through forests, mountains, frozen plains, and historic towns. For travelers, it offers one of the longest continuous rail journeys in the world. For residents, it serves as a lifeline connecting distant communities to economic centers and essential services. Urban transportation systems also play a crucial role. Major cities operate large metro networks, bus routes, and commuter trains that allow millions of people to move efficiently through dense metropolitan environments. These systems are often designed to remain reliable, even during harsh winter conditions, when temperatures can challenge both engineering and daily routines. In Russia, transportation is not simply about convenience. It is about survival, connection, and national cohesion. Because in a country this vast, distance is not just measured in kilometers, It is measured in the determination to keep millions of lives connected, no matter how far apart they are. To understand Russia today, you must look at a nation balancing memory and momentum, but at the direction it is quietly moving toward. Across its vast cities and distant regions, signs of transformation are becoming increasingly visible. Modern architecture rises beside centuries-old landmarks, expanding digital services reshape daily routines. And younger generations are redefining how tradition and innovation can exist together. Urban development has become one of the most noticeable changes. Cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg continue investing in pedestrian zones, green public parks, modern residential districts, and upgraded transportation systems. These changes are not only about modernization, they are designed to improve quality of life and create spaces where communities can gather, relax, and interact. Technology is also shaping how people live and work. Digital payment systems, online services, and expanding tech industries are opening new economic opportunities, especially among younger entrepreneurs and professionals. At the same time, Russian society maintains strong cultural continuity. Family structures remain deeply valued, and traditions connected to holidays, literature, music, and national history still play a meaningful role in everyday life. Social relationships often emphasize loyalty, long-term friendships, and intergenerational connections that strengthen community stability. This balance between progress and preservation creates a unique social dynamic where modern lifestyles exist alongside long-standing cultural customs. Education, science, and innovation continue to influence the country's long-term outlook. Research sectors, such as space exploration, engineering, and advanced technologies, remain areas of national focus, reflecting a desire to remain globally competitive while fostering domestic development. Younger generations are increasingly connected to global culture through travel, media, and digital communication. Yet many still express strong pride in national identity and heritage. Perhaps the most fascinating question about Russia is not where it has been, but how it carries history into an uncertain future. Is not how quickly it is changing, but how carefully it blends transformation with tradition. Because here, progress is not always about replacing the past. Sometimes, it is about learning how to carry history forward while stepping into a new and unpredictable future. As we've seen, Russia is not a country you understand in one visit or even one lifetime. It is a place that reveals itself layer by layer, and stories that rarely fit into simple headlines. And that's what makes exploring the world so fascinating. There is always more beneath the surface. If this journey changed how you see Russia, imagine how many other countries still hold stories waiting to be uncovered. If you love discovering the hidden reality behind countries, subscribe and join this global journey of exploration. And turn on notifications for more travel documentaries that reveal the real life, culture, and hidden stories of countries around the world. And tell me in the comments, which country should we explore next?